No.
Stop.
No. Oh my god. It does say that Sidebox is going live.
No.
Founders Chat Live.
Oh my. No, it's not.
Shut up.
We're live.
No, we're not.
We're live.
Let's go.
We're talking about pets.
You're live.
Yeah. Let me get situated.
We're a little late to the party here.
It's
looks
okay.
like.
It's
You
okay.
good there?
It's okay. It's like
Yeah, we had the what they call them, the founder wives,
yeah. They call them the real boss wives.
the real boss
Out of
wives,
Orange
the
County.
real box
wives.
wives of Orange County. We were gonna have them take over the stream, but they're
No.
chicken.
Yeah. They backed down.
So
Backed out. It's okay.
here we are. We were gonna hit the live button sooner, but this will do. There's some news in Google land, and I noticed it this morning when I made the update on my browser.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest notice was when I hit an old tab, I got a little notification that said that the tab was inactive, but now it's active, and that single tab saved my memory 127 megs.
Wow. One tab.
Unless it meant all whatever inactive tabs were inactive or saving me 127 megs, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds more accurate. But it did show me that when I clicked one single tab that I had open, which is just a website, basically.
Wow.
Like nothing special. And so Chrome, as we know, and it's crazy. We know Chrome is the worst memory, like a memory hog.
Big time.
But I mean, at least for me, I don't use any other browser, you know?
No,
I'm addicted to the extensions.
Yeah. Well, and for a while, remember we used Brave? We were Brave people for a hot minute.
We were.
The problem with Brave, and it's built on Chromium, which is the same thing essentially Chrome is built on.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't sync with your Google profile.
Is that what it was?
That's my issue.
Yeah.
So if I put on a new extension on one computer and I went to, start it up on another one, I'd have to log or delete that account and make a new one for it to sync. Too much friction.
Yeah. And we don't have to talk about Chrome, but I do like the ability to change profiles.
Yes.
Right?
Totally.
And so you can just flip profiles and
yeah,
and have it sync all your devices, right?
Yeah. I use it all the time.
Mark Payan, what's the word? Site Boxers.
Hey, Mark.
What's up, Mark? Miss you, man.
Yeah.
Come through.
Mark with the running, man. He's a runner,
he's still
dude.
going at it. I see him out there.
I watch your runs through the mountain or the hills.
Oh yeah,
right? Yeah.
He. That's why I haven't ran a single mile in years because he's doing all the running
yeah,
for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking this along. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
but yeah, the profiling is just
so I have like a personal and a work one, and
we have other venture stuff, right? Staccato and other things, and I like to flip between profiles and have all my stuff synced up clean.
Yeah.
But it's that memory.
Yeah.
Remember Workona? Did you ever use that?
Yes.
I was addicted to that for a while.
Yes.
For tab management.
Yes.
And then it was free, and then it wasn't free.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, I don't want to pay for this.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it.
Now I'm using group tabs.
Yes.
But again, it's technically having them open just collapsed.
Right. And I've never been good at the pins because whenever I close my browser, like whenever I opened it again, it would never have pins. So Charlie knows this, but my big hack right now, and I don't know where I stumbled upon this. I must have read something online about it, is creating shortcuts that basically turn web pages into web apps.
Yeah. Yeah, you got me addicted to it.
Dude, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
So for all the people, I don't know if we have time to do a tutorial, but if you go to a website and go to the three, is it the dots or
Think so.
okay?
Some websites produce the little icon
Yeah.
right in the address bar.
Yes. Yeah. You'll see a little thing that says like download web app or
Download
something.
web app. Yeah.
But if you don't want to, you just go to this, you go to the tab or the three dots, and then
Yeah.
I think it says create shortcut. And then you say open and create as or open as a new window. And you hit that. And basically it takes the web address and creates a browser app version of it. Self-contained.
Yep.
And the beauty of it is, so when I'm addicted to the command tab
Yes.
on Mac.
Yep.
So when I want to switch between apps that I'm working on, it's command tabs real quick. But when you're in a browser and all your apps are in a browser, you have to go tab. You got to, you know, it's a little more work. What this does is it puts all those web pages as apps. And since I'm only using maybe 10, 15
Yep.
tools a day, they just run as these apps. But what's crazy is if you really do look at it, if you look at let's say Asana, Spotify, Evernote, if you look at the web app, it's almost
It's
pixel
the
for
same.
pixel as the native app.
Yeah.
And it
Totally is.
actually makes me think that really just deep down, these native apps are just wrappers of browsers.
Yep.
They're just building a wrapper.
Yeah.
So
100%.
but what's crazy is they use way less memory. So like I'm working off of a 2013, 14 MacBook Pro,
Yeah.
and basically just runs everything on these browser apps, and it's faster than it's ever been. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I've got a whole tray of apps now on my MacBook.
Mhm.
I've got my Chat GPT.
Yeah.
I got my
Yeah.
Harvest, Gusto,
Yeah.
uh,
I've got like LinkedIn.
Spotify.
Yeah.
I never even downloaded the Spotify desktop app.
Yeah.
I'm using the web app.
And what's so funny is that Spotify app is notorious for wanting to update. Like every time I'd normally have the desktop app going, like every 2 weeks they got to update it. This time, every time you
Oh,
load
yeah.
it, it's the
Yeah,
right
it's
one.
the latest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no need. Anyway, for all you guys, so essentially what I keep telling Charlie, like essentially I've turned my MacBook into a Chromebook. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe I don't need a new MacBook Pro M2.
Maybe not. And with this latest version of Chrome, memory saver and energy saver modes pause unnecessary background tasks and are now available in Chrome 10. And so yeah, it'll be in the address bar. It'll say memory saver on. You'll see a little tag.
Yeah.
And you can turn it off if you don't want to, but I'm assuming that if it's on, that when you open the tab up, it's loading the site for the first time, maybe. Not sure. Like it just never made sense to me why it would use so much RAM to keep web pages open. You know what I mean?
Right.
Dude, and we have clients. I'm not gonna shame anybody on this.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a cough drop.
Yeah, go for it. We have clients, and I don't want to shame anybody. I'm not going to say any names. But when they share their Zoom, the screen share their desktop, they've got like 40, 50 tabs open on their browser. One client in particular is like, "Don't judge me," like right as he's sharing his screen. So I can't imagine the memory hog that is. It's freaking insane. So anyways, I'm it's good to see some improvement there. But we've been talking about, I don't know, man, like server side loading on, for Chrome or for different apps like video editing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like Stadia technology, right? Like,
Yeah.
Why does it all have to be sitting on your local? Why are you having to bear all that stuff locally when
Even your operating system.
Yeah.
Right now, what is it doing?
Yeah.
Mac OS 10. What is it really doing? It's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's not that
Why
hard.
can't it be cloud based?
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
Someone's gonna do it, man.
Yeah, someone's gonna run that
Someone's
sucker so
gonna do it.
fast.
It's gonna be an OS as a service.
hmm Yeah, you're gonna subscribe to it.
Yeah.
And you have to load it on. What'll be interesting to see is, so there's a time when you ever hear of a Hackintosh? Yeah,
Hackintosh. No.
Yeah, for a while, people were taking PCs and they were able to load macOS onto it. They would hack it. But a little bit of history, and do you remember this? Back in late '90s, Apple licensed their software, so you could build clones. They were Mac clones, like straight up. There's a company called Power Computing. Dude, you could get like a souped up Mac from Power Computing for half the price as an Apple Macintosh.
And it ran Mac OS.
Absolutely. Ran
What?
it great. Ran it better than Apple's.
What?
It's crazy. Because they'd soup it up. Because you would get it like it would just come loaded with
Yeah, and back then you could soup PCs up as, you can make them as beefy as you wanted.
uh-huh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I never knew about this.
Yeah.
How long did they do that for?
They did it for
Before they said no, not anymore.
I want to say like 3 or 4 years. And then Apple was losing their butt on
Mm.
hardware sales. Because why would you get a Mac?
Yeah.
Why would you get an Apple computer? And this is back with like Performas and Quadras and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then Steve Jobs came back. This is right before this was happening before he came in. And one of the first things he did was he pulled that license back. He's like, get that out of here.
Yep.
And but at the same time too, and someone needs to do a documentary, because the guy who took over right before Steve Jobs came back was basically they were getting close to bankruptcy. And one of the things that Steve Jobs sort of later on attributed that to was that their product line had gotten too diverse. I mean, if you remember, Apple was making scanners, printers. They had the Newton handheld. They were like Dell with their computer line. They had like a Performa 5500, 5600, 57, just tons of models that didn't need to be there. And so he came in, he's like, screw it. He canceled basically started from scratch and came out with the iMac. So he came out with the iMac. It used to be called the PowerBook. The laptop was the PowerBook.
This is the colored line?
No, just the professional one.
Mm.
And then that became the MacBook Pro. And the MacBook that was the iBook. No. Is it iBook? Yeah.
I don't remember.
The clamshell?
Yep.
Anyway, I got one of those in college. I thought it was pretty hot with the blue one. I got the blue clamshell.
Did you really?
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Were you in school or
Yeah.
job?
It was 2000, just at 2000.
Mm.
And I was studying abroad. So I was like, I need a laptop. So I got the iBook. Anyway,
That's cool.
a little bit of Apple lore.
Yeah.
Apple was not
Well,
the cool
fun
company.
fun fact, because I was not into computers much.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when we were in high school, I still didn't really use a
I
computer
never
much.
knew you to really get
Yeah,
into that.
and I think when we were sophomores or something, then we got internet,
Mm-hmm.
and then they started putting computers in all our classrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just learned whenever a teacher gave us like free time to mess around. And even then I would ask like friends to look up stuff like Crow stuff, the Crow stuff, behind the scenes stuff, whatever it was, these web pages that would pop up.
Yeah.
But you were already designing and doing stuff like when we were in high school. And so I remember going to your house one night and I was asking you to look something up. Forget what it was, but you had a back room. I don't know if it was an office or a
Yeah,
back
that
room.
was my dad's office.
Yeah. And we were on the computer, but you had a Mac that had a TV tuner
Yes,
built into it.
dude, it's still in our garage at home in El Paso.
Stop,
Yeah, I've actually thought about bringing
bro.
it in.
That would be sick to
'Cause
bring
it's
here.
black, right? It'd be.
Oh,
it'd
man.
fit, dude.
That would be
All
so
right, well
dope.
maybe we'll
One
I'll
day.
bring it in.
Yeah, because I remember we
Yeah.
were kids. I remember surfing the web,
Yeah.
and I still remember even like your dad walking in, like, "What are you guys doing? What are you guys looking at there?"
Dude, my dad used to always tell me, like, he's like, he just thought I was goofing off.
Yeah,
He's like, yeah, but will it ever do work? You ever do work? I'm like, yeah, Dad, it'll do work. And here I
Dad?
am. Yeah. Look at me now. But yeah, man, remember that the Apple? It was called the Apple TV. It was-
the OG Apple TV, actual TV.
It was an actual TV. It had an actual broadcast TV tuner in it and had a remote. And you'd push this button and the
Yeah.
screen would dim. And then, like, literally static TV. Like, we're not talking like digital shit. It was
Yeah.
straight static. You had to have an antenna on the back.
Yep.
It had a coaxial cable hookup in the back of this
Man.
thing. Like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Where would you even buy that back then?
Best Buy.
You serious?
Yeah, we bought it at
This
Best
is the
Buy.
'90s, man.
Dude, not only did we
Dude, that
buy
had
it,
to have been like $1,000
dude, I
or
think it was like
something.
$2,000.
Ooh,
Probably $2,000. And I'll never forget, it came with 4 megabytes of memory.
four.
But it had one extra slot, and I begged my parents, and they finally did. They bought me 1 meg of RAM. It was over $100 for 1 megabyte. And dude, I was like, I'm balling.
Man.
It had a 40, was it like a 40 or an 80? Maybe it was an 80 megabyte hard drive. And I made a deal with my parents that if I got good grades one semester, that I get one of these zip drives.
Ooh, man,
and
those
some
zip drives.
discs.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. I was like, and I kept telling my parents, like, this one disc has more
Then the whole.
than my whole computer
Yeah.
does,
Yeah.
So, and that was amazing.
How many zip disks do you have now in storage?
Zip,
You tossed them all?
I think so.
Yeah. I think I might have a few in the garage.
We might have, you know what? We might still
But-
have a player.
I used to love those things.
I know. In college, they were huge because otherwise you'd sit up with these little diskettes,
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
And they were
you
pretty
balling,
durable.
dude. Oh yeah.
yeah.
And then they were blue. It's like
Yeah.
you were balling if you had zip disks.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I see. Like,
Yeah.
you must
Damn.
have some big files on there.
And they had the SCSI ports and all that stuff.
SCSI. Yep.
It's before USB, dude.
Man.
Remember all that?
Yeah.
The big old parallel ports, like
Yep.
chunkers.
The screw.
Yeah. So it
Remember
doesn't
those?
come off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, wild times.
Yeah.
Apple TV. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you think about it, and like, there's probably more power in an Apple Watch than any of those computers.
Oh, those cheap Wish glasses you brought in today
With
have more
Bluetooth.
memory than that whole MacBook. The Mac that you.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Think about how it's going to be different too in the future.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. But that's my point, though, right? It's like, why do we need the computing to be right here?
I know. It's almost
that needs to,
inefficient.
yeah, that needs to change.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. But the fact that Apple like made it, I don't know, like made it cool and like part of, like they just own that part of culture, like
Yeah.
art and music, and
Yeah.
to where it was like, I'm gonna spend the money,
Yeah.
to have the hardware, right?
Yeah. It was cool
Yeah.
to own technology.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because even today, right, gamers don't game on Macs,
No.
right? They game on PCs because they're way more powerful, right?
Mhm.
But it doesn't matter. It's like, look at how big this thing is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of power in here.
Yeah.
But it's like, why do we need this? We don't.
No.
We don't necessarily need it, but it's like, it's part of culture. It's part of the deal, And they've made
Mhm.
it accessible,
Yeah, they did.
and they've packaged it,
Yeah.
beautifully.
Yeah.
That's the difference, I think. But I think the next big thing is whoever's gonna, offload the computing power,
Yeah.
and so it's all terminal based.
Hmm.
Then we're talking like Minority Report, or like, Back to the Future 2, where it's like where you can have these screens that are just like in front of you,
Yeah.
because it doesn't matter where's the computer, it doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter.
You
It's
just need the
everywhere.
information,
Yeah.
and it's coming from the cloud,
Right.
and it's going to be fast and instant, and
Right.
so that's the future, is this thing without
Yeah.
this screen without the computing power in it.
I remember hearing it described as dumb devices. Everything we have is smart,
Yeah.
right? Because all the thinking is happening right here. But what we really need are dumb devices.
Mhm.
Just a piece of glass, screen, internet access.
That's right.
Let the rest of it go somewhere else. And there is a whole thing on this was at like South by Southwest, probably like 10 years ago. Some guy was saying, he's like, yeah, here's the problem with sort of smart devices is he's like, they're hard to maintain. Like, think of like a smart fridge, like why would you, if you're Samsung or LG or whatever, you'd have to build an operating system to manage that fridge and keep it up to date for what? I mean, how long is a fridge supposed to last? 10 years?
Yeah.
So you imagine somewhere at LG is some dude, some computer department, and off in the corner, there's 4 guys managing some legacy operating system from 2015 for their smart fridge that's internet connected. You know what I mean? That's dumb. So what they were saying is like, just connect it to the internet and let the operating system sort of not even be present. Like, just make it a terminal. And at that point, it's infinitely upgradable.
Mhm.
Think about cars. Like, cars are the worst. They just age so fast. I mean, you've got yours. You have a touch or a navigation screen, right?
Mhm.
I mean, that OS gets old so fast.
Yeah.
Whereas the new move is to put in a display where it bases it on your phone. Does
CarPlay, yeah.
or Android Auto.
So you have the latest.
Yeah, it's always going to be the newest
Yeah.
one. And the car manufacturers finally figured it out. They're like, you know what? We're not a tech company. Why are we writing software? Let's get out of the way.
Yep.
And let the tech companies write the software. We're just going to put in a screen and let them do the rest. Smartest thing.
Yep. Have you used CarPlay?
Hardly.
I've done it on a couple of rentals like Turo and stuff.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty sweet.
Is it?
Seamless. Yeah. Once you get it. The only thing though that I'm not too sure about is I think it has to be hardwired. Not sure, because at least from the rentals, like USB,
Oh,
like it actually physically has to be plugged in. Don't quote me on that. But once it is, it's like it's your whole phone extended
right there.
So maps and texting and Siri and
That's great.
everything
Yeah.
works perfectly.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Although I do like the Tesla OS.
Yeah.
It's pretty clean, and I've driven my share of Tesla cars,
Mhm.
and it's pretty sweet. Like that whole operating system.
Yeah.
It is a little clunky to like when you have to do certain things. You have to like
I've heard, yeah. it's
click around to
couple
do
steps
simple
sometimes.
things
Yeah.
like mirrors and stuff. But other than that, like overall, like just having the giant screen and
I know.
it's nice,
It's,
man.
it's so smart.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll get better.
My big hack right now. So all my cars are old as hell.
Yeah.
But the Spotify.
Oh,
uh,
you got it. You got me one of those.
Yeah. What's
the
it called? The car thing.
the car thing. Yeah, there you can. I have it in the back of the Rover,
Oh, yeah. You're saying
and I put it on the vent. So to emulate the little Model X screen on the back
Uh-huh.
that Tesla has,
Uh-huh.
because it's about
Yeah.
6-7 inches,
Uh-huh.
and it's got a nice looking display.
Yeah.
And so Sienna could either DJ on the back and control it, or if I'm in the car, I just scream at it.
Yes.
I just like scream at it, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Spotify, play whatever," and it does it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
You have it in your
I have it
front.
in my VW. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's perfect. Like I'll drive the kids to school, and they're really into like Taylor Swift songs or something
Yeah.
like that. I'll be like, hey, Spotify, play this. And they're like, yay, you know? And now they're starting to like say it from the back seat too. They're
There
like,
you go.
Hey, Spotify.
Yeah, it's a clever little device.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Make your dumb car a little bit smarter.
Yeah. Here's one thing I'm curious about. So you and I were really early adopters to the Google Home
Yeah,
thing. How many do you have?
hard, dude.
How many do you have?
Every room.
Mm-hmm. I have at
I
least
mean,
one
even in
every
here
room.
in this place.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could see on the stream, but
I probably have
our
one.
overhead, everything's connected.
Dude,
to
I have
the,
one. I even have one in the bathroom, bro.
I didn't go that far, but
I've got one in the bathroom.
yeah.
I've got one outside, sort of like
Oh, you do?
under the awning. Yeah, it's not even made for outside, bro. It's like it's all bleached in the sun,
Yeah.
but it still works. But I've got so many, it's just stupid.
Yeah. And so I'll do stereo,
Yeah.
like what do you call that? It's the
Pairing
pairing
or the whole thing where you can set up as what is it? Speaker group.
speaker group. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. You
Oh,
just
yeah.
crank it.
Yeah. And it just
And they're pretty, even the small cheap ones they've got some nice decent bass to them.
yeah.
So you just crank them all at once.
Yeah.
And then the little meshes,
Yes.
those have pretty
That's
solid
crazy
speakers.
too. Yeah.
So that's like you get a real like beefy system.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have everything
Yeah.
connected.
Well, one thing I'm waiting for is to see what Google does with these Google Assistants and the Google Home. Because now when I talk to that thing, it feels like compared to ChatGPT,
Yeah, yeah,
I talk to the Google thing and I'm like, man, you are so stupid.
yeah.
Like it's just remarkably dumb.
Yeah, they need to step that up for sure.
So I'm like, wait a second. So my guess is though, they can probably make it happen, but the computing power is so heavy
Mm,
that I think they're not ready for it. So I think they're gonna probably roll out something. They have to roll out something because
Yeah,
people are
yeah.
gonna be like, guys, this is, it's too good of a thing. And I hope to God, like again, we're talking about smart and dumb devices. My hope is that those Google Homes can take like Lambda or what is it, the
mm,
BART or
mhm.
whatever, Bard, and be able to upgrade to that.
Well, I
Would
don't
be
see
a
why
w-
not.
It would be a complete waste if those things are like, you're like, yeah, no, they just do Google Assistant from like 2018.
Yeah.
That's it. Throw them away.
No, that would suck.
That would suck.
They would be fools though to do that
They would be fools. I would
because
never buy
because you
another
have
one
the
from them.
interface already in people's homes,
Yes.
no matter how old it is,
Yes.
and the more you're connected to it and relied on it, then that's how they make money.
Yeah.
So you would think they would just repurpose
Right.
existing devices because they're not going to make money off the devices,
No.
right?
No. They make money on the search and
Exactly.
and this like language model stuff. It's all conversational.
Yeah.
If you could talk to, if Lambda was vocal, it would work great.
Yeah.
Because right now you ask it something, it'll give, you'll ask it some question, it'll scrape the web and it'll be like, on the website such and such, and it'll sort of paraphrase whatever
Yeah.
it is, and you're like, that's not quite what I was looking for.
Right.
But that's because right now Google is still just like basing everything on, or was on search results.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how all of this evolves because, just be interesting.
So keep an eye out, folks. Chrome, and check out last week's episode. It was all about AI.
Yeah,
I'm sure there'll be some more AI stuff
Yeah,
coming.
it's funny. We were like, let's not talk about AI, but we end up talking about
I know.
It's inevitable.
Totally is. Catch you next time. We blabbered on for way too long. Later. Bye.
See ya.